Hi, my name is Norman Marks, and I've been thinking, writing, speaking about effective risk management for a long time, a couple of decades more. And I think one of the reasons I like this particular opening slide is that it talks about the need to be thinking differently, to use our imagination, have a passion for achieving success in the business in terms of setting aside what we've done before and focusing on what we're trying to achieve, which is success for ourselves, for our organization, for our business, for our leaders. Success being the achievement of enterprise objectives. And how can risk management help them? Well, the point of my presentation is that if we continue to talk about the word risk or use the word risk in our conversations, it's likely to get a bad reaction. And there are better ways of talking about risk management than going and saying, I want to talk about risk. I remember, for example, at one of my companies, I was with this oil company, Tosco Corporation, for over 10 years. And the first time I went to sit down with the executive vice president in charge of the derivatives trading, both commodity and speculative, very, very important area for the business, and one where the CEO had a lot of personal interest in it. This is something that he was particularly skilled at, and it was a passion for him. And there was imagination being used in how derivatives trading was helping the organization. So I went to talk to him. His name was Bob Lavinia. Good man, Bob. Later on, we became friends. But at that point, he came out very reluctantly. So you want to talk about risk? Let's do this quickly. I've got about 15 minutes I can spare because I've got to get back to running the business. Literally, that's what he said. I had to get back to running the business because talking about risk was not helping him run the business. My good friend Alex Sidorenko had a similar situation. He was the head of risk for this very large Russian financial services organization. And when he met with the CEO to go through his regular reporting, the CEO told him, you know, Alex, you have done a really excellent job. I can see how you have complied with all of the national and international standards. You have got a very comprehensive risk register and a beautiful heat map. And I'm sure you've done everything which a typical risk officer would do and maybe better than most. But look at my desk. Every single pile of paper on my desk is a decision that I have to make, an important one for our business, for our success. And what you're showing me, this risk management product, these reports, won't help me make any of those decisions. So it's really not a surprise that when surveyed, something like 80% of executives say that risk management is something they have to do. It's a compliance activity. It's something they have to do rather than something they want to do, something they need to do because it helps them. Instead, it just turns them off. It switches their attention from being interested in the discussion of what you're going to talk about to boredom and how quickly can you get out of there. I'm reminded of a risk conference. There was an American risk professionals organization that invited me to speak. And at the end of it, the president of the institute said, Norman, can we sit down together at lunch? Because I've got something I want to talk to you about. Sure. Happy to do so. I hope it's a better than normal hotel conference lunch. And it wasn't. But as he's finishing, he turned to me and said, okay, here's my situation. I report directly to the chief executive officer. And in theory, I'm supposed to meet with him monthly, at least quarterly. But it's so difficult for me to get his attention. So I said, well, what happens? He said, well, this is what happened the last time. I went up to meet with him and I showed him